Alrighty, so today we are going to look at the remaining 6 games, which turns out to be the first 6 games from match week number 8, because yesterday I decided to go backwards and look at the last couple of games before here we're doing the first 6 games of match week number 8 in terms of this part 2 of the review. And I gotta say, these first 6 games, yeah, these were definitely bangers. I mean, some of these games are very exciting, and that includes the first one, which is the Portland Timbers versus LAFC. And there's no doubt that I want to see this matchup again, and maybe even in the playoffs as well, because this was a very entertaining game between two teams that are known to probably do something good throughout the season, despite the fact that one team is kind of underachieving and then the other is still trying to find their form. Now, in the first half, Anthony puts it wide in the back post, as I thought the Timbers were on the front foot. They were pressing for the opener, and they get it. As in the 11th minute, Felipe Mora, second game in a row, he scored here, as he scored here from Evander to make it 1-0 in favor of the Timbers. It was actually mishit by Felipe Mora, but that kind of fooled Lloris enough. The fact that that one slots into the back of net to give the Timbers a 1-0 lead. Oliveira did look to answer, but he missed that one wide. But then 1 minute later, AFC did respond. It's Bogusz. He scored from Tillman to tie the game up at 1 apiece. And I mean, we might be in for a fun game, because it definitely looked like it was back and forth between both of these teams. Crepeau then denied Atuesta from long range in the 27th minute. Crepeau, of course, playing against his former team, but he definitely did not have a very, very good end to his day facing against his former team, as I'll mention in a bit. Bouanga then missed an absolute sitter in the front post. That pretty much just sums up the season for Bouanga. I mean, it's been a rough season for Denis Bouanga. Last season, he basically was a clinical finisher and was really overperforming his XG. This season, it's been the complete opposite. I mean, it's been a snake-bitten season for the most part. I mean, no, he has 3 goals, but man, it has been a tough going for the Golden Boot winner last season. But in the 34th minute, the Timbers retake the lead. It's Evander. He scored from Mosquera to give the Timbers the lead back. Now I wrote goal of the week, but yeah, I think we probably know what's the goal of the week, especially after seeing Messi scoring that wonderful free kick goal, and then also Caleb Wiley scoring from like 35 yards out. But this is definitely a good shout for it. I mean, a good, nice chest kind of ball there from Evander, and then he hits it off the volley there. I mean, that kind of proves you why the Timbers pay $10 million to get that. Like I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If Evander is on, he is definitely on. But we do head to halftime with the Timbers leading 2-1, and then in the second half, this is when Crepeau Day against his former team come to a bit of an unceremonious end, as he gets a red card here. Now, originally, not only the fact that this was dog soap, but I thought there was potentially an offside that could have been called here before the collision of Crepeau and Bouanga. And I gotta say, I mean, on that play, it was very close. It was almost as close as the one that I saw between the Union and Atlanta. And I guarantee you that if Jim Kern gets a footage of what they saw in this play, he's gonna be even more livid and be even more making more quotes than just the 2.5 man kind of quote that he mentioned doing his post game interview. Because yeah, again, it was close. And that they said that he was onside, and then of course the denial goal score opportunity that Crepeau commit on Bouanga. I know there was a Timbers player behind the goal, but remember, he's pretty much act as a goalkeeper because the goalkeeper comes out. So yeah, Crepeau of course was of Pentimus comes in as Mora was sacrificed as the outfield player, and LAFC took immediate advantage of that, because on the ensuing free kick, Bogusz would score his second goal. So yeah, that ties the game up at 2 apiece. Great free kick there from close range. Not easy to trying to score from that close of a range, too, especially with the wall there. Bouanga then hits one into the side netting, because he has no luck whatsoever this season. LAFC was definitely smelling blood, as they were looking to push that a man advantage and look to try to take the lead. The post would then deny Evander on the free kick, and on the follow up, it was who was this? There was a shot. Oh god, I can't even. It's Bravo. Yeah, Bravo had a shot that was deflected and goes wide there. I wrote this very fast, so that's why sometimes I didn't even recognize my handwriting when I write things so fast. But In the 68th minute, Rodriguez would hit one right to Lariz on the doorstep of goal. And again, the Timbers, they even though they were down a man, they were definitely putting some pressure on LAFC, though LAFC started to put more pressure on the Timbers back line. Kamara would then hits it wide from close range before Oliveira would do the same thing, but this time he puts it wide from close. Atuesta would hits it wide from close in the 6th minute as LAFC continue to press for the lead, while the Timbers, again, they were really starting to drop their lines a little bit, almost like they were trying to hold on to get the tie. Bawanga then missed wide in the 87th minute before Bawanga would then hit one right to Pentimis. Again, just Bawanga just not look the same player as he was last season. Kamara then missed just wide on the doorstep of goal, but in the end, it ends in a thrilling 2-2 draw between both of these teams. Shots in this one, 17 shots for the 10 that the Timbers had, 4 shots on goal for the 5 that LAFC had, 9 shots off target for the 2 that the Timbers had, 3 shots that was blocked for the 2 that LAFC had, and possession-wise, 57% possession compared to the 43% possession that Timbers has in this game. Very entertaining game. Certainly, I think a draw is fair for both of these teams, though, again, if you're the Portland Timbers, that winless run continues. And again, these last couple of games, they've been getting draws that you would say that it's kind of considered 3 points, consider, they got a draw against Sporting KC where they were 3-0 down at one point and came back to get 3-3. But as much as that is definitely considered a good draw, at some point you need to turn those draws into wins, and that's exactly what Phil Neville team has definitely looked to do so, because it's been a while since the Timbers have got all 3 points, and they're not really making up ground in the Western Conference because of that. Now moving on, in the next match is another entertaining game between Charlotte versus Toronto, and I think both of these teams definitely are two teams that are the more surprising team, at least in the first couple of weeks in the Eastern Conference. But it feels like now we're starting to see one team that has continued to carry that surpriseness, and the other team is definitely starting to see reality sets in. And it's not surprising that the team that won the game is the team that is continue that surprising start to the season. Now in the first half, Vargas would hit one into the side netting before Johnson denied Vargas, but it was recycled right back to Arfield, but he could not put that one on target. No doubt Charlotte was on the front foot. They were pressing for the opening goal. The first shot for TFC saw Dylan Flores puts a long range effort that was actually tipped over by Kalina before Vargas puts it wide from close on the other end. The shots were already 4-1 for Charlotte 15 minutes in, so this was not one of those games that it was a bit of a slow start as we've seen sometimes early this season in MLS. Kalina would then tip Benedeschi's shot over before Rosted would miss wide from the corner, but then in the 39th minute, Charlotte would take the lead. It's Kervin Vargas. He scored from Tulaluma to make it 1-0 in favor of Charlotte. So it's been a while since Vargas have scored a goal, and it's definitely a while since Bill Tulaluma has gets on the assist chart. I mean, he doesn't get on the assist chart or on the goal scoring chart very often, except maybe for the first season that is when he was scoring free kick goal for fun. But yeah, while it was a great volley there, shot from Vargas, I think Johnson should have done better here. I think he should have saved this one here. He kind of reacted late. I don't know, he was screened or something, but kind of reacted late to that one and just could not quite parry that one away. And we do head to halftime with Charlotte leading 1-0. So that lead quickly disappeared in the second half, as in the 49th minute, Prince Owusu would tie the game up. He scored here from Benedeschi to tie the game up at one apiece. Then on the other end, it looked like Charlotte retook the lead. Bada looked like he puts it into the back net. The problem was the flag did not agree with him, so the goal, of course, was chopped off for offside. On the other end, Marshall Ruddy would head it wide from the corner, and this is where we started to see really a back and forth kind of game, and the scoreline would also replicate it itself as well. Flores would then head it high from the corner, as I thought TFC has the momentum now, and they were looking to take the lead. Well, that momentum kind of quickly disappeared, because on the other end, in the 70th minute, Abada would score his first career MLS goal here, and it came off a WTF turnover from TFC. Yeah, that's something we saw a lot last season, and we're starting to seeing it once again for this team, and it's no surprise the fact that good start that TFC had in the beginning of the season, yeah, reality is definitely starting to set in for this team. But that being said, they didn't give up, because on the other end, just 8 minutes later, Prince Owusu would score his second goal of the game, as he scored here from Jaquil Marshall, ready to tie the game up at two apiece. But then on the other end, just 7 minutes later, Charlotte retake the lead. It's Hachiman. He scored from Yager here to give Charlotte a 3-2 lead. Again, it was just, the momentum was just swinging back and forth. It was a back and forth type of game. Both teams was trading goals for the past 15 minutes, and really both teams were just trading blows up by blows ever since the second half whistle was being blown. And then on the other end, Mbika almost made it 3-3, but he hits the side netting there before Franklin would miss wide from close range. TFC was definitely pressing late to make this a 3-3 game. Though unfortunately that hope comes to an end when Kevin Long gets his second yellow card of the game. Johnson did deny Uren on that ensuing free kick, but in the end, in a very entertaining game, Charlotte able to walk away with all 3 points in this one. They win 3-2 against Toronto, and the shots in this one, 11 shots committed, 9 that TFC had, 4 shots off target for the 5 that Charlotte has, 5 shots off target for the 4 that TFC had. Both teams had 1 shot that was blocked, and possession-wise, 55% possession compared to 45% possession that Charlotte has in this game. And like I said earlier, Charlotte continue the strong, surprising start to the season. Whereas for TFC, again, reality is really starting to set in the in this team. And I'm not gonna blame John Herman or any TFC players because of the fact that they're starting to slide in these last couple of games. This is what we've expected that this TFC team. We didn't think that this team was good. I know they got a good feel story, at least in the early part of the period. But again, maybe is due to the new head coach boost. I mean, I know John Herman came in last season, but it feels like maybe the players got that new head coach boost in the beginning of the season with John Herman taking charge in the first full season. But now it's starting to wear off, and you can definitely start to see that this team is definitely start heading to the direction that we thought that they were all going to be this season, and that of course is near the bottom of the Eastern Conference. But that being said, moving on in the next match is DC versus Orlando City, and I gotta say, Orlando stole this one. I mean, this was a bit of a smash and grab kind of win for Orlando City because, yeah, DC will just be kicking themselves that they didn't get anything out of this game. And this kind of also just sums up the season for DC because really, throughout the season, they have played very well this year. This team could easily be a team that I think could be near the top part of the Eastern Conference. They're just not getting the resort that reflects that, and this was another game that does so. Though they did get off to a good start, as in the 5th minute, Benteke would score from Click to give DC a 1-0 lead. Orlando was actually complaining that Galese was fouled in the box. I think that was a good no call because, again, I know there's been times where there's that saying that goalkeeper will always get the benefit of the doubt. I think that's kind of an overrated statement, and that I do think that there was really not enough where I think that they would have called that one back, and that I'm glad that they of course uh stand that goal there. But yeah, that made it 1-0 in favor of DC. Galese then denied Fletcher from close range. There was no doubt DC has started the better side. And at least early on, it looked like DC was gonna run away with this one. Benteke would then miss wide from close range, and the shots basically tells the story that it looked like this was gonna be one-sided game. The shots were 5-0 for DC 20 minutes in. The first shot for Orlando did see Torres miss one from long range in the 23rd minute before Stroud puts it high from long range. But then on the second shot of the game, for Housen, which scored from Angulo to tie the game up at 1 apiece. Yeah, that was completely against the run of play because up to this point, DC was by far the better team. Also, great to see for Housen gets on the score sheet because that gives me a chance to say Dagger Dan has scored a goal again. I mean, that has to go down as one of the best names, I think, in the MLS. Not only this season, probably in MLS history. But in the 38th minute, Montreal was in on goal there, but it was blocked off the line by Herrera. And all of a sudden, Orlando kind of had the momentum. I mean, that equalizer has really kind of rattled DC because they were the better team up to that point, and they just lost all the momentum because of the equalizer. Uh, and then the 4th minute stoppage time, Montreal would puts it over from long range, and we head to halftime, tied up at 1 apiece between Orlando and DC. Now in the second half, not much really happened, at least early in the second half. The only chance, at least in the first 20 minutes, was Bartlett puts it over the bar from close range. But then on the second shot of the second half, DC would retake the lead. It's Barani. He scored from Stroud to give DC a 2-1 lead. Herrera trying to make it 3-1, but he puts it over the bar from close range. On the other end, Bono would tip Ladero's shot over from long range in the 81st minute, but then in the 82nd minute on that ensuing quarter, Brekalo would score from Torres to tie the game up at 2 apiece. I don't know why Nick Bakuti says that he thinks that goal was by Benteke, and I said this yesterday too when Keith Karstegen uh mis mis spoke the or misjudged the goal scorer, that he thought Mikael Uru scored the second goal for the Union to tie it when it was actually Kyle Wagner. I feel like this is even worse in terms of commentator getting the wrong name, because not only the fact that Benteke definitely did not score here, he doesn't even play for Orlando. He plays for the other team. And I said this before, and I think KC fans maybe can agree with it. I'm not a big fan of Nate Beauty with his play-by-play commentator. I think he's one of the worst Apple TV commentator, and that, this season he's definitely been getting more games, because I think that they are a little bit short on the Apple TV commentator, since some of them did not return for the second season. Some of them, of course, was forced out, and some of them probably just want to move on from other things. So Nate Bukuti gets more games, and I wish he should just stick with Sporting KC game, or at least Apple TV should just assign him to Sporting KC games, because when Sporting KC games happen and Nate Bukuti is the play-by-play commentator, he does a good job. But he does not do a good job when it comes to other games, and that, yeah, again, this is just ridiculous. Like, how do you not only misjudge the goal scorer name, but you misjudge a player that doesn't even play for the team that scored the equalizer. Anyway, in the 85th minute, Pirani would hit it wide from close range as DC was pressing hard to try to retake the lead, but not only they didn't do so, Orlando would actually get the lead in the first minute of stoppage time, as Duncan McGuire would score from Angulo to make it 3-2 in favor of Orlando. It has been a long time since Duncan McGuire has scored a goal, and that has to feel good for him. And it was really kind of a bit of a smash and grab kind of goal, because it was a kind of a hopeful ball there from Angulo. Now, obviously, people will say, how in the world is McGuire on an onside position when he was like way ahead of the last defender? Well, when the ball was playing in, McGuire was still in his own box. So yeah, when the ball was playing in the own box, you don't have to be in line with the last defender, and that, yeah, because of that made it 3-2 in favor of Orlando. But DC did not give up. Ferrani did look to answer, but he was denied by Galese, and then Galese denied Herrera from long range, and it was definitely butt clinching time for Orlando City fans, because there was 11 minutes of stoppage time. In fact, they play into the 14 minute of stoppage time, but in the end, DC does hold on. Or not DC, I'm sorry, but Orlando does hold on to win this one. They win 3-2 against DC United. Shots in this one, 19 shots for the 10 that Orlando City has, 4 shots on goal for the 6 that DC had, 7 shots off target for the 3 that Orlando has, 4 shots off block for the 3 that Orlando City has, and possession-wise, 52% possession compared to 48% possession that Orlando City has in this game. And like I said, it really feels like it's a bit of a smash and grab win for Orlando. Maybe they probably didn't deserve this win, considering they would kind of outplay at least in most part of this game. But for DC, again, they get the feeling of the same with Minnesota and also RSL fans, mostly Minnesota fans, of how in the world did they lose this game despite the fact that they were the better team against their opposition. But that being said, moving on in the next match is Montreal and Cincinnati. So, yeah, Montreal, I'm pretty sure they're happy that they're finally getting their home opener after that 6 game road trip, because they not only bounced back in a big way after that 5-0 drumming that they took in the hands of the Seattle Sounders, but they beat the defending Supporters Shield champ FC Cincinnati in their home opener. The first shot of the game did see Oriano puts it high from long range in the 6th minute before the first shot of the game for Montreal. See, Juan struck the post there, as the shots were one apiece really for both of these teams 15 minutes in. Lassiter would then miss wide as he was in on goal there, and then Cockrell actually had to be subbed off here, and this was after Oriano basically bumped Cockrell into the advertisement board. He didn't do it intentionally, but yeah, that is definitely one that Cockrell. I was kind of surprised that he didn't just stay in. I feel like he may have dislocated his shoulder, and maybe they could have just popped it back in. But Laurent Courtois doesn't want to take any necessary risk, so he decided to sub off his start striker here, and it also helped the fact that the replacement of it is the guy that used to be the former MVP of this league. That is Joseph Martinez. And it also doesn't help the fact that he made an impact in this one. And again, no pun intended there for all the Montreal fans. And I know I'm sorry, Montreal, but again, that's what happened when you decide to change your name, and especially you can blame the owner to change the name. At times I feel like that there's going to be even some moment I have to throw in the impact reference with Montreal because in reality they should be still called Montreal Impact instead of being called CF Montreal. But that being said, in the fourth minute of stoppage time, Martinez would score from Charnier to give Montreal a 1-0 lead. Just like I said, Martinez making an instant impact there. Well, it wasn't really an instant impact. He had to wait a little bit. And really, that looked like a prime Joseph Martinez goal. Again, Joseph Martinez, I know he hasn't been the same ever since post-torn ACL injury, but that was the calm and collective finishing in the box that we saw Joseph Martinez does time and time again with Atlanta United. So, yeah, that made it 1-0, and certainly Montreal fans are hoping that that's going to continue as the season goes along. Bupenza then, on the other end, would hit one right to Siwas, and this came right after a sloppy turnover from Montreal, and really just almost from the kickoff as well. And that if that actually went in, I guarantee you, Laurent Courtois would absolutely go in on his team at halftime. He would be absolutely fuming at his team at halftime because they worked so hard to get the lead and looked like they were going to have the lead heading into the second half. And then they gave up a cheap goal, just like that. Fortunately, it didn't happen. They did lead heading into the second half against FC Cincinnati. Now, in the second half, Edwards had a shot that took a deflection, but this originally probably should have been pulled back for advantage. In fact, everybody stopped thinking that advantage wasn't given and a free kick was about to award to Montreal. So yeah, Edwards was the only one that shot it. It actually took a deflection and it goes wide there. And yeah, the fans they were not happy the fact that that was not a free kick. And again, I feel like it should have been called back. I don't think there was an advantage in terms of it. But that being said, Siwas would tip two both shots over the bar in the 53rd minute, but then 5 minutes later, he couldn't keep this one out from Yaya Kubo as he scored here from Acosta to make it 1-1 in this one. But that equalizer didn't last long because just 4 minutes later, Montreal retake the lead. It's Lassiter. He scored from Charnier here to retake the lead for Montreal. Martinez was looking to try to get another, but he missed that one wide in the 67 minutes. We then go through a rough period where really not much happened, which I thought that favored Montreal. Valenzuela, who just came off the bench, puts it wide off of a deflection, and then it looked like Cincinnati tied it in the 80th minute when Corey Bear puts it into the back net. Problem was the flag did not agree with him, so yeah, that was disallowed for offside, and that was kind of it. I mean, despite the fact that Cincinnati tried their best to tie the game up, as the story of the season, they just don't have that final product as what we saw last season. Their supporters show it inside, and as a result, you lose a game. 2-1 is the final score in favor of Montreal, and the shots in this one, 17 shots compared to 8 that Cincinnati has. Both teams had 4 shots on goal, 3 shots off target compared to 1 that Cincinnati has, 3 shots that was blocked compared to 9 that Montreal has, and possession-wise, 50% for both of these teams. And I also will not be surprised if Montreal can start to go on a bit of a run because again, this is a team that I'm pretty sure they are really happy the fact that they get to play in front of their home fans. In fact, Stade Saputo was completely packed in this game despite there was a bit of a threat of rain because I'm pretty sure those Montreal fans are really happy to finally see their team play as they were the last team to have the home opener. But for FC Cincinnati, yeah, this is really concerning. And again, this is almost similar to last season where they had problems in terms of scoring early in the season, but they are able to get wins or get draw at least in the beginning of the year. This season they haven't been able to do so, and that's where it's even more concerning because it's one thing that you're struggling to score goals, but if you're unable to grind out resort like Pat Nolan did last season, there's got to be some concern. And I know as the season goes along last year, it got better. There's a question whether if that is going to be the case. They better hope it's the case because if that is not going to be the case, my oh my, this would turns out to be a very disappointing season for Cincinnati and for a team that has MLS Cup aspiration and a team that look like they want to finish the job that was left undone last year and to make. I mean, I think they'll still make it to the playoffs, but the fact that they won't, if they make it to the playoffs, I can't tell that this is a team that you could really count that they could go on a deep run, especially how I mentioned that once we get to the playoffs, Eastern Conference, I think this season is going to be a bloodbath again. There's just a lot of good teams in the Eastern Conference this season, and there's really no room for error if Cincinnati cannot figure out their goal scoring woes in this early part of the season. That being said, I am now going to switch boards and look at the last two games to finish off this review of match week number 8. So moving on, we got the Red Bulls versus the Chicago Fire, and this is kind of a bit of an interesting one because despite the fact that the Red Bulls play it down a man for majority of the game, I'm pretty sure they are going to be kicking themselves. That the fact that they didn't get a goal in this one, and despite the fact that the Fire did their damn best to try to throw away this game, especially late in this one. Now early on, Carmona would hit one right to Brady in the second minute before Morgan had a shot that was tipped off the post by Brady, as the Red Bulls were definitely on the front foot. They were pushing for the opener. Frostberg had a shot that was or Frostberg shot actually puts it over as he was in on goal there, so that's one that Emil Frostberg would want to have back. There was a shout for a handball for the Fire not given. Amaya would then hit one right to Brady before Haile Selassie hits one right to Cornell, as that was the Fire for a shot. Again, it was all Red Bulls early in this one. Morgan would then hit it high from close range as the Red Bulls continue to press for the opener. Then the 42nd minute, Andres Reyes would get a straight red for this, and rightfully so. I mean, this again inexcusable here from Reyes, as he basically intentionally swing his arm and pretty much smack the face of Tobias Sovquist there. And again, in the days before VAR, you maybe can get away with that, but in the day of VAR, when there's cameras everywhere, you're not gonna get away with that one. So yeah, rightfully so. That was deemed violent conduct. It's an automatic sending off there from Reyes. So yeah, the Red Bulls were down to 10 men. Frostberg would then hits it wide from long range, and at least it didn't kind of bother them. They were still pushing to try to get the opening goal, but we do head to halftime with the scoreless between both of these teams. In the second half, Nealis would sky one into the stands before Shaqiri would hit one right to Cornell. Haile Selassie then puts it over the bar from close range, and then Kuipers would head it wide from the doorstep of goal as Chicago started to finally look like they're taking advantage of being a man up and was looking for the lead. Cornell would then deny Gutierrez from long range, but in the 65th minute on the other end, Brady would deny Morgan from close range, and this is where the Red Bulls started to regain that momentum and start creating some of the chances again. Frostberg would then miss wide from long range in the 74th minute, and again, despite the fact that the Fire has lots of possession, they couldn't really do much. With that possession, and the Red Bulls, I thought they looked like they're more lively to get that next goal. And this is not a big surprise considering the Red Bulls is never a team that likes possession. So this is almost kind of like play right into the hands of the Red Bulls, especially if the Fires give the ball away. That is, yeah, if you give the ball away against the Red Bulls, that is pretty much an automatic goal that you're gonna concede. In the 83rd minute, Brady would deny Manuel from close in the 83rd before in the second minute of stoppage time. The double post haunt the Red Bulls as first the post denied Manuel there, but the Fire didn't do a good job in terms of clearing their lines there. It fall right to Amaya, and he hits the other post on the follow up. So yeah, again the Red Bulls just got double post there, and despite the Fire their best effort to throw this game away, Bulls come to their rescue. And in the end, it ends in a 0-0 draw in this one. As the shots in this one, 17 shots for the 8 that the Fire has. 5 shots on goal compared to 3 that the Fire has, because hitting the post does not count as a shots on goal. 6 shots off target for the 2 that the Fire has. Both team has 3 shots that was blocked, and possession-wise, 42% possession compared to the 58% possession that the Fire has in this game. And again, it's kind of a weird feeling, the fact that you'll be the more disappointing side, despite the fact that you play majority of this game down to 10 men, but the Red Bulls had their moments and they just couldn't show their clinical finishing in this game. And for the Chicago Fire, I mean, this is kind of a weird feeling too, because on one hand, you probably are disappointed that you aren't able to capitalize and score a goal with the man advantage. But on the other hand, you're probably happy with the points because they did not play very well in this game on the road as well. And again, they try their damn best to throw it away. They try their damn best to do what a lot of Chicago Fire team would do on the road, and we've seen it happen this season as well. Throw away goals late to either give the opposition the equalizer or getting the winner, but didn't happen this time, and I think Fire fans are probably relieved that it did not happen this time. And then finally, moving on into the last match, look at the other New York team, NYCFC. Well, they do get a victory against New England here, as NYCFC getting their second win of the season against New England, and this game kind of went as you expected. Park with missed wide from the header, as that was the first shot of the game on the 4th minute. Not much really happened in this one, at least early on. The shots were only 1-0 for NYCFC 15 minutes in. Second shot of the game did see Augustine Ojeda miss wide from close before first shot for the Revs saw Hio hits one right to freeze. Shankalai then puts it wide in the near post, as I thought the Revs with some sustained pressure and looking they're trying to get the opener go. Baccarat would then miss wide from long range after a bad giveaway from New England. So yeah, if you're gonna give the ball away, you better hope that it ends up in the feet of Baccarat last, because yeah, Musa Baccarat still statement just are not allowed to score a goal this season for NYCFC. Freeze would then deny Veroni from close before there was no red card that was shown for the Revs after VAR deemed that Hark's foul on Illich is downgraded to a yellow and it's only worthy of a yellow, and I think it's the right call. I mean, yes, there was definitely some studs shown on that challenge that Harks made on Illich, but I don't think it was egregious enough to say that that's a red card, and great to see that VAR overturned that call. Wolf then was in on goal for NYCFC, but he was denied by Ravis for Rodriguez, what puts it over the bar from long range, as NYCFC was definitely pushing late to get the opener. And keep in mind, it was 8 minutes of stoppage time because of the VAR replay. So NYCFC had time to get themselves the opening goal. They don't get it though, and we had to have time scoreless between both of these teams. However, they do get it in the second half, as in the 57th minute, Augustine Ojeda would announce himself with NYCFC as he scored his first career MLS goal from Hans Wolf to make it 1-0 in favor of NYCFC, and he rifles that one. I mean, that was a laser shot there from Ojeda there. I'm surprised the net didn't broke there because of how hard that Ojeda tagged that ball there. Ravis then denied Parks, but it then falls right to Ojeda, who looked to try to score his second goal, but he was also denied by Henrik Ravis. This was probably the best game that Ravis has had so far from New England. Too bad the fact that his defense didn't really show up in this game whatsoever. But the momentum was all with NYCFC as they were pressing for the second goal. Ravis would deny Fernandez from close before Baccarat would miss high from the front post, because Baccarat not allowed to score a goal this season for NYCFC. Jones would then miss a sitter from 8 yards out in the 72nd minute, and this is I think it's Marquinhos Jones for NYCFC and not Dewan Jones. That is, Dewan Jones actually came off with an injury early in the first half, so yeah, that's not good. Ideal for New England that's already having a really rough season under their first year head coach Caleb Porter. But having said, will these missed chances come back to haunt NYCFC? Because we've seen it before. When you keep this at 1-0 against the opposition, it could come back to haunt you. Well, in the 79th minute, Freeze would deny Spalding there, and it was a great save there from Matt Freeze, because Spalding's shot took a wicked deflection, and Freeze has to readjust himself and just it in time to save that one. And then he would rob Shankalai on a point blank header in the 89th minute. So again, when you leave your opposition in this game and only have a 1-0 lead, that of course could happen. And NYCFC almost paid the price for it, because the refs were definitely pressing to get the equalizer. Notice how I said that they almost paid the price for it? Because in the 3rd minute of stoppage time, Julian Fernandez calls game at Yankee Stadium, as he scored here from O'Toole to make it 2-0 in favor of NYCFC to make sure that NYCFC get their second win of the season. And that's exactly what happened, as in the end, 2-0 win for NYCFC over the Revs. Shots in this one, 18 shots compared to 8 that New England has, 5 shots on goal compared to 6 that NYCFC had, 4 shots off target compared to 1 that New England has, 3 shots out of block compared to 2 that New England has, and possession-wise, 52% possession compared to the 48% possession that New England has. So, yeah, for NYCFC, getting their second win of the season, but for New England, their miserable season continue. And I know it's early in the season, and I know this might be a little bit over dramatic, consider, this is Caleb Porter first season for the Revs, but you gotta say that you maybe started feeling the hot seat already. I mean, Revs fans are already started feeling displeasure with Caleb Porter, and if they can continue this projectile that they're on right now, and I know they have injuries, and as I I mentioned the Jones injury that they suffer earlier in this game is definitely going to be another major setback. But a team that has some MLS Cup aspiration, and the fact that they have only got 4 points to show for it to begin the season, and I believe they're still sitting dead last in the Eastern Conference. It's a brutal, brutal start for this New England Revolution side. But there you have it. That is pretty much it in terms of looking at all the games from match week number 6, as always. Or, no, not match week number 6, I'm sorry. Match week number 8, that is. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys do like, smash the subscribe button. As always, let me know in the comments below what do you think of these 2 games and also the other 4 games I talked about on the board. But until then, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.